Hello there. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you? Your publication is Canada based, right?
Yeah.
I'm in Canada right now.
Oh, you are. That's amazing.
I'm in Calgary. Yeah.
Fantastic. Great to talk to you today. This film blew me away. I love your character.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
I'm going to start. What's it like being part of a Blumhouse movie? Because it is such a particular thing. They have such a unique style and everything else. What was that like?
Yeah, I have so much admiration for Blumhouse, and like Get Out was such a huge film that not only was scary as hell, but had such an incredible message. And I think Blumhouse does a really good job in terms of storytelling within this horror genre. And I think they've done a great job at validating this genre in general. And so to be the lead in one of their films is so exciting. I'm so grateful.
How would you describe Ever? What is she like, and what is it that you would say drives her up into the point where like things really get out of hand?
So in the beginning, Ever is, someone who doesn't really think very much of herself. She's kind of one of those people that's like, let me just get through high school, survive, which I guess is a pun in terms of this film. And she's like, and then my life can start when I get out of this hellhole, right? But I think she learns very quickly that it's not enough to just, hide yourself away. At some point, you have to utilize the voice that you have, and she goes through this self-realization and self-empowerment, and it's thrilling to watch, and it was cathartic for me to do because you see her come into her own, find her voice, and in the end, she not only saves herself and all of the people in the film, but she repairs her friendship with her best friend, and she even says in like this little monologue at the end, she's like, we shouldn't be worrying about which groups are going to accept us. We should be thinking about which groups would be lucky to have us as we are. And I think that message is very universal and something that young people really should embrace.
I love the relationships that form between the characters and change throughout the movie, and as well just the way she does step into that kind of like, okay, well, now I'm going to get things done kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
How, I guess at the same time, the thing I want to talk most about is the fact that it approaches the bullying topic and even just the idea of toxic relationships, toxic people, the things that affect people so much. What did that mean to you being part of that storytelling?
That being the basis of this film, I think makes it very relatable and gives it like a really strong driving point. And it's something, just everyone can understand. We're all trying to, in a way, fit into this world. And especially as an Asian American woman portraying the lead in this film, I think, we're really turning the very quintessential Breakfast Club film, we're turning that genre on its head. And all these characters, what's so great about having this very talented ensemble cast is that they all start out one way with their facades, and throughout the film we see them slowly transform and learn and grow, and they deal with their inner demons, and they get stripped away because or they have to acknowledge these inner demons and work through them in order to survive. And I think in general, that's a great metaphor for life, learning to love yourself and your imperfections, and just like coming as you are and that being enough is just a message for young people and truly all people in general, and something that I, to this day and probably will be for a long time trying to navigate.
Did you have a favorite scene that you got to do? Because there are some epic scenes. I'm curious if there's one that stood out in particular, though, that won't spoil anything.
Okay, so no spoilers. I mean, I really loved the scenes that I get to do with Drew Scheid in the film. There's like, you know, a sequence that we do together on the school bus, and it really just, it starts out as one thing, you know, you think you're gonna have this certain type of moment, and it turns into something else completely, and that's one of the major twists in the film. And he's just such a great actor to work with, and also. Josh McHale, he also makes an appearance in that sequence as well, and they're just such talented actors, so giving, so supportive, and we just had a lot of fun working together. But I just really loved like the twists, you know. I loved playing into, okay, we're gonna make you think that this is one thing and it is something else entirely, and I think you can really say that about the whole film, which is why I love it so much.
And I think the type of film that is, it actually gives you guys so much to work with as characters and actors and everything else. Did you that must have been a big draw when you were looking at the scripts initially, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool because, you know, sometimes when you're doing a film, you have a limited amount of time to really get your story across and create a character arc that feels well timed and realistic within a short amount of time, you know. And it was really fun to see not only my character but all these characters go through their journey, and it felt like we got to play a whole life journey for these characters out in the course of one film, and you know that comes with all of its challenges and rewards, and so that was very fulfilling and exciting, I think, for all of us.
I have to ask, are you a horror fan? Do you watch horror, and if so, do you have a favorite or favorites?
I do love horror. I tend to be drawn more towards psychological horror, and I basically I love a good story of any genre, you know. And so if there is a good story, there's good acting, good character work, good relationships between the characters, or interesting relationships between the characters. I think I'm quite drawn to that. I really love Mike Flanagan. I'm a huge fan. I always say that in interviews, hoping that one day he'll read it and like be like, I'm a huge fan of you too. Let's work together. But I'm a big fan of his work. Haunting of Hill House was so special to me, and I also watched The Haunting of Bly Manor, and I just love the work that he does, and he creates something so poetic and beautiful while still scaring the crap out of you, but without sacrificing the story he's trying to tell.
Exactly. That's the best horror right there for me
I think
too.
so.
I have to agree. I mean, you know, give me a good George A. Romero zombie movie too, but you know, there's a rich tapestry.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I'm curious. So what's coming up for you, and what's next? Do you have plans already? Is there something you're aiming for, or something you want to do next?
I've been so fortunate to be working kind of nonstop for the last like 2-3 years, you know, and on projects that I have learned so much from, with people that I admire so much. And like I said, I'm in Canada right now. I'm actually shooting a show, Tegan and Sarah's show, based off their memoir High School, which takes place in the 90s and is very My So-Called Life, and which is one of my favorite shows of all time. And so to kind of create the modern day version of that is really exciting. This movie Unhuman comes out June 3rd, and then I did another psychological thriller called The Cow,
Yeah.
directed by Eli Horowitz, starring the one and only Winona Ryder, and of course Dermot Mulroney, John Gallagher Jr., Owen Teague. I mean, I still, to this day, I feel like it's not real. It was such an incredible experience working with people I admire so much. And that will come out sometime this year, maybe in the fall. I know it was just the rights were, or someone did purchase it at South by Southwest, which we premiered at, and that was amazing. But you know, I'm remaining open to whatever opportunities come my way, and I'm learning and I'm growing and I'm enjoying the process as it goes.
Well, it sounds like you've had some incredible opportunities, and it's great to see, because this film, I mean, it surprised me. Like, you go in with one expectation and it's all blown out of the water.
Yeah, I'm glad we accomplished that.
Well, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.